Welcome back to Attack on Titan Anime Review episode number 51. Yep, we're still getting kind of close to the end of the series. And weirdly enough, for the second episode in a row, this episode, which is called Sunset, episode 82, only adapts one chapter. The entire thing. It doesn't, I think cuts one small bit out, per se. But mostly, it keeps everything in. It does make changes, yes. Mostly it's visual changes, mind you. I'll get to them through the course of this review. The episode starts off with seeing Hotch. I haven't seen her in a long time in the series. I think the last time she appeared was actually toward the end of the previous season of the show. Yes, that was the last time she was seen. And she was basically being informed about the death of one of her co-workers who was killed during the Battle of Shuhas arc that happened during the events of the last season of the show. That was the last time she was seen, from what I can tell, watching these episodes. Remember, she's been remarkably absent, probably because they haven't much to do with her. So, we see her helping out with some people, debris, and then she goes back to the headquarters, which, by the way, apparently the military police headquarters is basically undergoing some reconstruction. Apparently, it was probably going remodeling at the time of basically the Wall Titan attack. Which I should point something out about this episode, and the anime really expanded on this. Every time you see outside, what do you see in the background on the outside? The gigantic Wall Titan just stomping away from the Shuhas district. That's mostly what you see the entire episode. Anytime they show an outside scene, it's always the Wall Titans. And I should point also out that Eren is frequently mentioned this episode, does not make a physical appearance. And you might be asking, Nick, but was that cut from the manga? Did Eren make a physical appearance in the chapter this episode is stepped from? No, he did not. Not really, no. Hotch, of course, goes back in headquarters just to get some other stuff. And then she notices footprints. Yes, wet footprints on this floor. And they came from the basement. The very same basement that Annie basically was in. So she follows them. And apparently it's to like some kind of library or something. And we see Annie hiding behind a door. And apparently she doesn't know this actually is Hotch. This is Hitch. The same woman who was her roommate in the series. As a matter of fact, she actually has appeared in one of the OVAs, Lost Girls, which is a really good two-part OVA. I don't think it was dubbed, from what I can tell. I don't know if it was, because I watched it subbed, but damn, was it freaking good. Even though that most took place the day before some of the events they have during the events of Season 2. Yeah, that's mostly what that was. And, of course, Hotch is there, but she's being lazy. She's basically been depicted prior to this as being sort of a lazy bum, who basically versus sleep, slacks off at work. Now she's changed. Apparently, since Annie basically will be a sort of a traitor for working for Marley, she apparently is a lot more serious, a lot more confident, and a lot more responsible since then. Probably also since the guy she liked basically died. Yep. So, she's given requests to basically just have Annie skip town. Hitch is like, no problem, I'll do it. So, puts her on a horse, and we see, while they're running along, we see the Wall Titan still stomping about. And Annie did receive the dream, and she's also in the episode, she actually has heard everything that Armin and Hitch has said the entire time. Like, I think everybody knew that Armin was visiting her, but apparently Hitch was visiting her too. The whole time, which I'm like, okay, so these two, I get maybe Armin, because of how close they were during the training camp days. But Hitch, a woman half the time she really barely speaks to, apparently she spoke to her a lot of the time. For some reason, I'm not really sure why this is. Like, apparently Eren never talked to her, not even Mikasa. Like, nobody else. I'm like, because it's shown Armin did, but Hitch, there probably was not a lot of off-screen stuff when she was talking to her. And apparently she has been she knows about the events that happened of course the 4 years when she was put on ice. Which I should point out though, the anime when they unveiled her, when they had her basically defrosted, it was almost the same amount of time in, I think it was like in animation, basically, where they mentioned the anime basically has been 4 years, and it's been like probably like a little over 4 or 5. I think it was like 1 year longer than it was in the in well animation, like when you see it wise. I'm sure that the manga, it had been several years since her last no physical appearance. Well, when she's been active, anyways. So they ride out, and that's the last see of Annie the whole episode. Of course, they do have a flashback where they kind of retell stuff she told before about her backstory, where they go a little bit more detail into it, where apparently she was found by the guy who actually is her father. So apparently the guy who is apparently her father, she's actually adopted. Okay. Yep. And they go a little bit detail to him. We actually see him present day, and he convinces the Marleyans about what the heck is going on with the Wall Titans, and they don't believe him. The fact there's like about 50 Titans basically heading their way, and the Marleyans don't believe them. The Eldians know about it, but not the Marleyans. They apparently have no idea about this thing. And we see him trying to attack them, and it's a very brief scene, mind you. In the case of, we do have a Commander Shuhash scene, yes, where he basically talks to a couple of his trainees, his most recent trainees, about how this fact apparently the building structure has been almost been demolished thanks to the General Zachary being killed during the events of the previous arc of the series, and now that Commander Praxis is dead. Yeah, because he turned into a Titan. So, yeah, they pretty much hardly have any leadership right now. And he tells his trainees to join up with the Jaegerist. And then, of course, mentioned about with Flock. Flock does something really stupid in this episode. I'll get to him. We have this really good conversation between between Armin and Mikasa. And I think they actually added this in when they mentioned at the end of the conversation, like, where did my scarf go? I don't think that was in the manga. No, I don't think so. But it's an absolute great conversation. And mostly put, they kept pretty much everything in for this conversation, which is shocking to say at least. I was kind of expecting they might alter some words. I think they alter like a couple words in this conversation, where Armin basically is trying to go stop Connie from feeding Falco to his mother, who was a Titan, who's been a Titan since like season 2. And mostly put basically, like, he doesn't know what to do with Eren. He has a bunch of things on his mind, so I'll go off of that. And next is Mikasa herself with Flock, where he ends up shooting the guy in the hand. He was one of the volunteers, which, by the way, he does kill them both in the manga and the anime, which, of course, they actually hear him in the anime saying his line. In the anime, in the manga, they actually see him, you actually see saying the line itself. Why'd you shoot him for? And they do a slight visual change here. Oh, I almost forgot to mention the whole thing with Annie. In the manga, when she made up with Hedge, she was dripping wet. In the anime, she was dry. That I thought was kind of weird. Yeah, that was one of 2 visual changes I can tell they made here. The other was a direction that they show Mikasa come up some stairs. In the manga, you see her from the stairs perspective, you see her walk up the stairs. In the anime, you see it from the other side. But aside from those 2, that's the only visual change I saw this whole episode. And of course, Jean, of course, is like shocked what happened here. And let's see, what else? I know the stuff with basically the ending, which happens right after the credits, which I found this very interesting. Let's see. I'm trying to think here. Am I forgetting anything else? Let me think here about this. Oh, there's stuff with Connie and Falco. Of course, Falco apparently has got temporary amnesia. He's got minor amnesia. And he's, oh yeah, hospitals in the north. They're like, oh no, we're going to the south. I'm like, okay. And basically, this is probably going to lead to something later on. And it's a very brief thing. It happens during the credits. And after they have after the credits, you have a post-credit sequence. Before the preview. I'm like, as far as I can tell when it comes to this anime, I think this is like 1 or 2 times before this one. Because this is a rarity they do this in Attack on Titan where they have post-credit scenes. Where we see Peck and the general, I don't remember his name, where they see the Wall Titans figure out what to do next, and of course see the Marlin ships go away. And then the episode ends with something a bit, there's a minor change here. They kind of basically made this area a little bigger, where we see Zoe Hodge, walk up to Peck. And they actually have, the visually what you see here, it's presented the same way as in the manga, except in the anime, they see what's in the cart. You actually was in the cart a little bit closer than it was in the anime. In the anime, they have a little bit further back. Not really, I guess the reason why it's basically from Amber's perspective. That's a minor change. Because in the manga, it's a little bit more closer to Peck. Because I think that I think the people who actually worked in this episode must have realized, though, why is he so close? Let's just move him back a little bit and then have Zoe basically march up to him. Like, oh yeah, I'm unarmed, don't eat me. And apparently Peck can control her Titan when she's basically just poking her head outside of her Titan form, which I thought would be kind of interesting. Oh yeah, he's like, oh yeah, he's harmless. He just refused to die. And who was in the cart? Levi! Yep, they do a close-up with Levi. That actually is from the manga. That's not a change. That's actually straight from the manga. And that's the episode. Gotta admit, damn good episode. But I'm curious, though. Why the heck are you still doing one chapter? And here's the thing about how many chapters have been done for the manga. As this episode, there are 14 left. And there are 5 episodes left to air. 5 more, and that's it. Unless, of course, they decide to double up on some chapters over the next 5 episodes, we're basically going to run out of time. They may have to conclude in a movie. I've heard rumblings about a movie, but that might be the case to wrap up the series at this rate, because you only got 5 episodes left to go. If they continue doing if they do one chapter, they might have to do that. But we have to wait for next week for that to happen. Yes. And hopefully next week, please adapt more than one chapter for an episode. Yeah. That's what I'm hoping anyways. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this particular review. And I have no more time to do videos tonight, so tomorrow. Now, I'm going to make an announcement here. Now, what is my new anime going to start up? And it's going to be something that basically a lot of people will be a little bit surprised that I'm discussing this series. Given the fact that I've never discussed series before, the only person who likes to talk about the series is one of the voice actors for the series, Brian Knickerbocker. Yes, someone who I've talked to on Twitch. What series am I talking about? I'm a spider! So what? That'll be starting tomorrow. And if I get time to, I'm going to do Freya. And hopefully, if it airs tomorrow, Shaman King. Is last week it did not air. If you're curious, though, why in the world there was no new Shaman King review last week? Because the anime took a week off. I do not know how long it's going to last for, but yeah, that's pretty much the reason for that. I thought that was kind of weird. How long is the hiatus going to last for? I don't know. The anime's only got about 10 episodes left. I think it's about 9 more episodes left to air. Yep. So, fingers crossed it might happen tomorrow, but all depends. Though I might get time to do a couple videos tomorrow because I got stream to do tomorrow. And I might be able to finish the rest of them probably on Friday at the latest. And as far as I can tell for Saturday, it's only just one show Saturday. That's going to be how realistic with the Kingdom because there's still no case closed because it's still on break. Who knows how long, because I did check. There's no new episode on Saturday. It just basically they're airing a remastered episode. That's mostly what they're doing on Saturday. Okay? We'll see you tomorrow for I'm Aspire So What. Okay? Next video. Bye.